Tonight, the Max Luther Community Center in Huntsville is keeping its doors open for people who need a warm place to lay their head. The center reported 68 people checking into the temporary shelter last night. Volunteers say that is 3 times as many people as they've seen in the past. They also say they were able to make accommodations, all thanks to local organizations.
Give a big shout out to Moores Mill firefighters for bringing us extra cots, as well as the Downtown Rescue Mission for bringing us extra sleeping pads for folks, because we started out with 40 cots, and so having those extra cots and sleeping pads were really helpful.
She says they'll look at the forecast tomorrow morning to decide if the warming center will be open for another night.